These might just change everything for us. Yes, beans. Beans, 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 the magical food that they are. 2 years ago, Kyle and I did the Bean Protocol, which was created by this woman, Hurd, who used her knowledge and research skills to heal her daughter who had been poisoned. And she went on to share her knowledge to help other people heal. That protocol is using beans to heal many different ailments. And why beans? They are full of soluble fiber, and that soluble fiber, when eaten away from any fats, ideally 90 minutes away from any fats, they mop up any excess hormones or toxins in the body and helps you move it out of the body through your bowel movements. Over the last week or two, I've been having this feeling of wanting to reintroduce the beans into our life. Kyle has lost a decent amount of weight on this journey over the last few months, and we're trying to put that weight back on. Adding in beans, which are high in fiber and protein and carbs, can help put on weight, but they can also help with brain health, and there have been studies showing that eating beans can lower risk of cognitive conditions. Anything we can do to help send power and strength to the brain to do what it needs to do, we want to do that. And the reason being is beans are high in B vitamins and also fatty acids, which are really good for the brain. And when I mentioned this to Kyle, he was really excited. He's like, yes, I'm all for the beans. So we are going to start adding them in very, very slowly. So ideally, you eat 1.5 to 3 cups of beans a day, starting really slow with a couple tablespoons. And when we did it in the past, we would eat the beans, then wait, an hour and a half, and then eat our regular meals. So we would just separate it and eat it as like a little snack. So like beans, a grain, and then like some greens or a vegetable that just doesn't have any oil on it. So our plan is to just start really slowly with 1 to 2 tablespoons 3 times a day, spaced throughout between our other meals. And honestly, I'm really excited because when we did it very consistently for a whole month, I felt incredible. My skin was glowing. I had so much energy. I had absolutely no pain with my cycle, which is unheard of. My endo pain was gone. So I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen for both of us as we add this back into our life. And again, starting really, really slow. But beans are incredible. Not only are they packed with so much fiber, because of that, they help to lower your glucose spikes. And since Kyle is on steroids because of the inflammation in his brain, anything we can do to help minimize those crazy spikes that are exacerbated by those steroids, we want to do. The big thing with the beans is just eating them away from fats. The overall protocol also minimizes any processed foods, sugars, and she recommends stopping any supplements or medications, which we are not going to do. But simply just adding more beans into our life is how we're going to go about doing it. Getting dried beans, soaking them overnight, and then pressure cooking them makes them easier to digest. There's all concerns about lectins, and when you pressure cook them, there's not really much concern for lectins in the beans. So we will be soaking lots and lots of beans and keeping those in the fridge. When we've done it in the past, I like just putting a little tablespoon in a pot with some quinoa or some brown rice or millet or something like that, heating it up and just eating that upon waking. So you're also getting a little protein to like start your day before we would sit for tea. That is the same way we will move forward now that we're introducing them back in. We're gonna start tomorrow, and we already eat a lot of beans. We just don't isolate them away from fats. And that is the key, is that when you separate them from fats, then they can actually mop up all of those excess hormones and toxins that are in the body that need help moving out of the body. We'll keep eating beans the way that we do. We eat them with most meals because we are plant-based. It is one of our big sources of protein, but we will add in this additional piece of having them in isolation. I'll be curious to see what happens. We're gonna just try it out and we'll see if it helps Kyle gain some weight and just having more food in his body throughout the day, and also lowering his blood sugar spikes and sending some power to his brain. We are all for it. It's such a simple, affordable, easy hack. I mean, this many beans doesn't cost very much money at all, and that feels like such an accessible way of potentially bringing some healing into the body. And from my experience, I felt incredible when I did it. Kyle didn't really stick with it when we were doing it 2 years ago as much as I did, but he did seem to have more energy, if I can recall. So I'm hoping that that is what we'll experience. When we did it last time, the only bean that I liked were chickpeas. That was the only thing that felt good to eat like in isolation. So I'll be curious to see how my taste buds have expanded over the last 2 years and what feels interesting. Feeling drawn to trying other beans because diversity is great. Having many different beans throughout the day. My plan is to have, a couple mason jars full of beans that we can just heat up, or if you want, eat them cold and toss them in a salad. That is the game plan. Beans, beans, beans. May they help us to heal, to find overall improvement in Kyle's weight and overall well-being and health in both of our bodies. I love being able to do these things with Kyle and to support him by doing them alongside him. It makes it a lot easier to hold Kyle accountable and also myself accountable when we're doing this. One thing to note is that if you decided to also explore doing the bean protocol, you have to drink a lot of water because beans can be dehydrating. So Karen Hurd recommends like 96 ounces of water or something. I don't know if we'll be able to drink that much water. We'll be using the bathroom every 5 seconds, but increasing our water intake will be important, which is just good for overall health. So eat your beans. If you want to do it along with us, let me know if you're going to do it. I think it's going to be really incredible to more beans and to healing using the simplicity of what nature has to offer us. Beans. Beans, 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 beans.